Hey guys, Dead by Dawn 93 here, and today's must-see horror episode, I talk about the first Stephen King movie, or the first movie that was ever made from a Stephen King story that I ever saw. This is truly one of my favorite ones. I watch this movie every year when it comes around on Halloween. It's really a tradition. It is, of course, Pet Sematary. Now, before I get into why I love this movie, I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit what it's about. Basically, it's about this family, and they move into a new house, and it has the father who's a doctor, the mother, and they have a little girl whose name is Eleanor, but they call her Ellie, and a little their two-year-old son named Gage. Well, the little girl Ellie actually has a cat, and they named him Winston Churchill, but they call him Church for short. And they moved into a house, and right in front of the house is a road, and basically on the road, semi-trailers go back and forth every day, and for most of the night, like continuously. And across the street from them is this old man who they met named Judd, and he's one of the coolest old men I've ever seen in a horror movie. You know, he comes out, he's a really nice guy, you know, and everything. You know, really cool guy, sort of laid back and everything. Well, one day, he takes them out, you know, walking down to this path that the little girl finds. And when they walk down it, they walk into a cemetery. And Judd pretty much tells them that it's a cemetery that was built by children to keep basically their dead pets and everything. You know, which is the Pet Cemetery. And, you know, basically the mom is really sad about it. And then the little girl, Ellie, begins asking her dad, you know, what would happen if Church died and we had to take him to if we had to take him to the pet cemetery, and he starts worrying about it. But of course he's like, oh, don't worry, nothing's going to happen to him. But then one day, the old man, Judd, actually does find the cat, and it was hit by a trailer, and so they decide to take him out and bury him. But instead of burying him in the pet cemetery, Judd says, hey, well look, I got this other place we can bury him at. And he ends up taking the father to an Indian burial ground. And they basically bury it there. And basically wherever you bury whatever you bury into the burial ground will eventually come back. Only they'll come back evil, basically. That's sort of like a zombie type creature. You know, the cat does, and Judd tells him all the stories of how that he used to have a dog that he buried there, and it had come back and he had to find a way to kill it. And then he also talks about how they killed one of his family members, and how one of his family members had died, and then they bury him there. Well, the cat does end up coming back, but it doesn't do it. Like, it doesn't hurt anybody except for the father. Of course it's nice to the daughter, Ellie, but you know, even though the cat's alive, she doesn't really notice dead. Like, its eyes glows weird, and it smells bad. She starts talking a little bit about, you know, what does her father believe about death and things like that. And he really kind of explains, like, different reasons what he believes happens, which I really like. I really like when they put little bits of stuff in horror films where it's, you know, like a father and daughter, or a father and son just sort of talking, because I think it really helps with character development. And you actually begin to care for the characters in this movie. And then the mom ends up, you know, telling the story about her aunt. I think it was her aunt. Yeah, it was her aunt who was, like, really diseased, like, She had something wrong with her, and she became very demented, and when she was a little girl, they left her alone, and she had to take care of her and stuff. The scene with the aunt was probably the creepiest scene in the whole movie for me. I don't know why, that scene just sort of stuck with me. It was really very weird and everything. Well, basically, the real horror of the movie begins when they're having a little picnic, and they're playing with this kite, and they let the little boy Gage play with it, and he ends up dropping it, and it flies off over the road, and he ends up running towards the road, and yeah, you can pretty much guess what happens after that. So yeah, First and foremost, when I first saw this movie, this is one of those movies where I never watched it fully through the first time. I actually saw pieces of it. Like, I actually saw the last bit of it. I think I saw, like, the first time I watched it, I saw when the little boy, spoiler alert, when the little boy comes back from the dead and begins killing people. And, yeah. But I love a lot of different things about this film. You know, I love the opening. The opening of it, the main title, they actually have little kids, like, sort of talking about their pets dying and everything and being buried. I thought that was very effective. And you can really tell a bit of the sadness that's, you know, in, you know, the cemetery, because it's pretty much just built by broken-hearted children. As the mom says, it's a cemetery built by broken-hearted children. And, you know, one thing I love is one thing that the old man, Judd, keeps saying is, sometimes dead is better. And that was like sort of the catchphrase for the movie. It even says it right here at the bottom, sometimes dead is better. And I just love that. That's like the one quote. That's like one of the most quoted lines in a horror movie, you know. This is a really nice edition. This is the special collector's edition DVD. And it changes that to the cat's eye, and it also changes to this zombie character that the dad continues to see, where it's basically a man who got hit by a truck and he dies, and then he's coming back to him in visions, and he's trying to warn him, you know, don't, you know, the father's name is Lewis, by the way, and he ends up trying to warn him about what's going on, and he's pretty much, he's kind of a cool character, the zombie guy, and he's pretty much, you know, he just, he's, you know, trying to be sort of a guardian angel in some way, but there's really nothing he can do to help the dad in it. And the dad's, of course, stricken with grief. But, yeah, like I said, really nice addition right here of this movie. There, of course, there's a zombie guy right there. I think his name is Pascal. Yeah. And then there's Gage after he comes back. There's the cat. This comes with a lot of cool special features right there. Includes a commentary by the director, documentary. It's like 4 different documentaries, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, amazing movie. Watch it every year. One of my favorite Stephen King stories. One of you know, one of the movies that I can, you know, tradition to watch every year. This probably comes on AMC and Sci-Fi always. So if you have not seen Pet Sematary, you just have to check it out. It's truly classic. I'm sure everyone's already seen it, but you know, this is just one of those films that you just have to see. And if you've already seen Pet Sematary, let me know what you think about it. You know, if you like it, you know, tell me what you like about it. If you don't, let me know. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later on the next episode. Bye.